Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 35 of Yoakley, our vanilla CS2 build. We hope you're having a wonderful day. Between episodes, we had a live stream, adding details to the social housing estates of Shelton, including petrol station, football pitch, and new apartments as well. However, over these 35 episodes, Yoakley has grown to be a significant sized city now with ports, downtowns, massive highway interchanges, bridges, amongst many other chunky bits of infrastructure you would associate with most cities. However, it's lacking one particular public transit themed bit of infrastructure, an airport, which is what we will be working on today as we turn our attentions to the currently unpopulated and completely undeveloped northern slopes of the town. And indeed, in real life Ithaca, of course, which this map is based upon, the airport is over this general direction as well. So slightly we'll take a look at the real life town for some inspiration today. But otherwise, welcome back to Yoakley, everyone. So just as we begin to plan today's episode, there's been a crash, and I wonder why. This road is pretty gnarly for what it is. It's very up and down, and of course was just doing as a general arterial structure. Let's go ahead and open up some new tiles here. And I think we'll grab all of these because we will eventually end up building in them. So just open them all up. Super. So Editing Egg will be throwing up some Google Earth shots of Ithaca right now, of this development where the airport is. The airport's a little more where I've mined it over here. So actually rebuild these buildings. I don't know why they collapsed. Must have been a storm or something over that. But either way, the airport is in this general vicinity, so I think we'll be taking quite a lot of inspiration for this map here. So I'm going to break off this entire arterial road, overlapping items. Oh, that's because there's a power line here, isn't there? There we go. So yeah, all of this can go. I simply don't want this road to be that wavy. But we do have a traffic flow system to connect into here. So I think what we will do is check out our height differentials here. So right there we're at 157 meters. And this is at 173. So it's actually not really that big a difference at all, especially if it was that long a distance. So I think what I'm going to do is slope up super gradually, just so the arterial has a much smoother gradient and it's not up and down like it just was, because that was super ugly. As much as I do like respecting the terrain, as long-term viewers will know, I very rarely terraform beyond the limits of realism, but I definitely want to fix what was going on with that road. So that should help it pretty much there. And then we'll have a little bit of a trajectory, so we'll just 4-lane here. I think we'll keep it to 4-lane. There's no need to go to 6 lanes in what will be an outer-lying suburb of the downtown, really. I almost wonder if this is actually an opportunity for massive complex curve. If we do, what's the total distance up to there? 2.3 kilometers. So we bring that down to 1.1. That's going to be about halfway. We'll have our first complex set there, and then I'm really looking to almost hit the road guideline of this road here. And we'll put that in. How do we feel about that? I think that's a much nicer approach into the town, isn't it? And there's also some lumps and bumps to sort out here on the bridge, so I'll fix this as well. So our road is much happier now, and we also have the trees out of the way. So glancing back at the terrain again, it's really, really not flat around here at all. I think I'm going to put the airport about here. So for this, I'm going to use the regular airport, just the one titled airport. I'm not a massive lover of the international airport building. I think it looks a bit ridiculous, and it's just not the vibe of Yoakley, I think. So we're going to stick with the regular airport here. Let's just place it down. I think the terrain is going to play an enormous part for us today. I think with the planes leaving, if I can cut this in to perhaps be a little harsher. It actually wants to have a permanent slope, doesn't it? It won't even let you terraform that there, which is fine. I can work with that. But the idea being that the planes are taking off over this lip of land to then fly off and out over the water, of course, right? Is generally what I'm thinking there with the positioning of the airport. Having said that, that does align our terminal with this side of the fields Now, before we get very happy with it, I'd also like to have a look at some of the upgrades. So we can get a cargo terminal, which adds a train connection here. Now, we do have a cargo train line right here, the one that actually serves the strip mine, which I think we can plug into. And there's also a passenger train line right here. No, it's not. That's a road. The passenger train line's here. Here it is. And this is our passenger line. So I feel like it's a good opportunity to serve both methods with this. Now, for ease of connection for both of those, I actually think the opposite orientation is most appropriate, purely for those trains arriving. So I'm going to have as closely aligned as the farm fields I can tolerate. And we're about there. Wonderful. And we will establish the arterial connection from the facility. Then again, now we have the front of the airport. I'm actually going to terraform it all out to the same layer. This layer here I don't mind, because that's going to allow me to have the rails come under the roads really nicely with bridges. And then roughly from here, I'll do a little slope. That just takes us back to the arterial that we just created over here. Just so this land is a bit easier on the eye. Again, as much as I've enjoyed playing on Ithaca, and I really would advise you to play on this map from Lane, it's so nice. It's certainly been a challenge, I think, to build on such mad terrain without move it. Definitely. Seriously, one of the most challenging builds I've ever had to do, Yoakley. So I'm going to do a one-way flow system here. This one can continue all the way up that direction. And likewise, this can go down to here pretty much. And then let's reverse this method. I'm likely just to have a bunch of car parking at the front of this over anything particularly extravagant. So we'll do a 32-meter curve to complete the loop. That can come down. And then I'll do the same at the end. That'll just give us a traffic flow system. Not that I imagine this being absolutely packed with traffic anyway, but better to be safe than sorry. And then let's create our first flight. We'll go over there to Boston. Sure, why not? Over there to New York. I guess this does make sense with it being an Ithaca map, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, over there to Philadelphia, of course. And what else do we have? To Pittsburgh, absolutely. And our last connecting flight can either go to Detroit, Toronto, or Ottawa, or Montreal. Let's do Detroit. No, that's Toronto. There we go. And then back again. Super. And then we'll send our cargo. I guess Detroit probably would have been the better cargo destination, wouldn't it? That's fine, then we can use the other ones. Come to Ottawa. And then Montreal. That's a really nice touch from Lane. Have actual city destinations, given the fact this is an Ithaca map. That's very cool. I actually wonder if that's the Montreal and Ottawa connections, then I guess this is technically north, isn't it? Which it is, because the sun rises here. Yeah, so actual compass accurate geolocations on Lane's maps. What a map maker. Incredible. Super. I also want passenger trains, as we mentioned. So this doesn't have a passenger train upgrade, so we'll have to add our own in. And of course we've got so many different stations now. Which one do we want to choose here? Something to be quite extravagant, I think. Maybe the sunken bypass is what we go for. This is quite an airporty looking station, isn't it? I think it is. I do like this one, but I think the positioning I want to change a little bit. I think I want to plug this essentially directly outside the terminal. So maybe we go for the junction to sit there. That'll also provide me with some out of airport terminal car parking as well. Okay, we'll go for that. We'll just have to rejudge the approach of these roads here, but because this is a sunken station, its networks are actually recessed very slightly into the ground. Which again, from the genius that is Bad Peanut, I always absolutely adore these. We actually want to sink down a little bit there, don't we? Just want to grab... It's difficult to grab the exact layer I want there. It's like 95 meters is pretty much what I'm after. Cool, and then dig out this channel, and this can carry our passenger train this way, which again is all very horrible, why we dig out these new trenches. Oh, it's actually encroaching upon the sloped layer of the airport, isn't it? I can't actually flatten that any further than I want to, which is fine. I can deal with it. It's not the end of the world. So that'll go that way to connect with the passenger train, and then this one is going to come essentially under this highway, and we'll keep it at this level, as it will essentially give us some really nice layers through here. But you can see how it's going to cross over the passenger line, and then continue at this level. That should be enough to get us a train bridge in there. And then he can go over the hills and far away, and we'll find a way to plug into this over there. Super. So I'll get these two plugged in, and then we can have a look at the road network to actually service the airport itself and see some trains flowing to it, hopefully. Super. So this gives us all the layers we need for developing the airport here. Let's start out with our passenger trains. So we should have... Yes. So from here, this is currently going to the outside connection, isn't it? Which is fine. Now, do I want it to stop at the airport both times? I think I probably do. Which nullifies this railway, but I guess intercity trains will still use it, so I will leave it in. So you trains are going to come and stop here. So it's stopping on its way in from the outside connection, but we also want it to stop on its way out as well. So this one is going to come and hang out at the other platform. And then our cargo airport, or cargo train station, yeah, we don't want them to go there. I'm just going to send them to the outside connection. To Kettlewick, of course, which is pathfinding failed. You sure? There should be full clean connections all the way through here. Yeah, we are connected. But pathfinding has also failed here as well. Why has that happened? Why are you guys broken? I'm not sure why that was broken, actually. That's nothing we've done this episode, is it? Oh, there you go. Now they just came back in. Okay, maybe that connection wasn't clean then. Maybe it wasn't. Interesting. If we do this, does that help? Okay, that didn't seem to break them that time. We'll try again. We'll do cargo train. There we go, to Kettlewick. Now we can do it. Send it out to Biffers City. Fantastic. And that should be all the ones I need. We could create another rail connection here, which will send another cargo connection out this one, but I'm not going to do that for right now. I might do it in the detail time lapse. We'll see first of all. But either way, here comes the first passenger train. Whilst that's coming in, let's address our one-way flow system. So coming out of the airport, I want to have it stop there. And then I'm going to come down into regular 4-lane road. I don't want to snap into the middle here though. There we go. Bring that down and out. And then pretty much just straight trajectory down into the arterial will be fine. Although we're building the airport facility today, we'll probably work on a little bit of a road structure that's going to occupy here for another town, eventually linking in with these networks down here, possibly even redeveloping this interchange to allow it to flow over and up the hill to join this road. Let me know if you want to see that. So just a little vote in the comments if you want to see this big Yoakley interchange essentially become a 4-directional interchange as it carries on up the hill to connect here. I mean, it does do that in a minute, it just goes that way. But we could bring it up here as well. Let me know what you think on that one. Wonderful. And then we can just configure our lanes here to flow into the airport complex. Again, I think I'm going to use complex curve. It just seems to be my go-to here at the minute. And then we can downgrade this to be our 3-lane. Super. A little bit of node controller or manipulation would be nice there, but I'm going to keep it vanilla. I have actually had quite a few comments, and indeed people in the Discord ask me if I'm adding custom assets to this series. I am not. I think because we've built so much of the city vanilla with no mods, I'm going to keep it that way until it's done. And yeah, we'll not have any custom assets in this series, I don't think. Cool. So connections have arrived. Now we just want a train to come in, hopefully. In terms of this line here, there's the possibility we send that down somewhere. There is another train line here to possibly converge with, you know. It's very difficult terrain to navigate, though, with trains. Yeah, I think we'll probably leave that one. Well, I'll save myself the hassle. So here's our flight path. Fantastic. We can see the planes coming in. Right over these currently non-existent low-density homes, but they will exist likely in the next episode. As our planes arrive, everyone's tremendously happy. And we'll hope to see a cargo train in the not-too-distant future as well. So in orbit of the facility here, I would like to take inspiration from Ithaca. Of course, in Google Earth, we can see post-sorting facilities, which I think is a great chance to include that building for us in the game. So let's have... Let's get a server farm out here as well. I just think we will have quite a lot of things out here. Some of this big service stuff is what I'm after. So we'll do a post-sorting facility. And again, I'm going to want this... I think within this general area of the airport here. So let's start to have... We'll have a cut across for people not wanting to go the whole loop, of course. Because, you know, if someone wants to access this post-sorting facility, they don't have to come all the way around here, basically. And then I'm going to run this as some frontage. So I'm going to bring that off there. I'm not massively bothered about flattening everything here. Super. So even here, because these are really busy buildings, I'm going to continue to add one-way flow system. So they're forced around the back end and then back to the collector, which will then feed them back into this arterial connection. Glancing back at Ithaca, there's a significantly more developed interchange here, which it looks like we might need because this is starting to get busy. So we'll possibly have a look at that as well. Also granting connection onto these roads here too. We'll see what happens, I suppose. Cool, so we have our post-sorting facility. I'd also like some long stay car park action here too. So let's find a place for this. Now I want this angled to the rest of the airport facility here. Again, just because it is in Ithaca, it actually gives us quite a nice little differentiation against the front of the terminal. You know, not having everything aligned on this kind of left to right axis. So we'll throw it off 45 degrees here. And we want big, massive car parks here as much as we can get. Not underground, not multi-story. What's our biggest obnoxious car park? The very large? Yeah, I think that tends to scream long stay car park, doesn't it? I'm happy with that. We'll have a road come up side, just so we can position further car parks off. Coming down to the bottom, that's what the asset's 80 meters deep pretty much, isn't it? So we'll have our next one here. Have that one sit there. And I'm going to box that in. Again, unfortunately, the AI is not going to use the long stay car parking as I intend them to. But then again, I wonder if I can almost cheese them to use it by having it be free, essentially. I'm not massively happy with that connection, to be honest. I'm going to remove the car parks there. No, it's a very small segment. We'll see how we get on with that. Yeah, so with these car parks, I'm just going to make them free in an effort to try and entice them into actually using them. So we'll see if that works. I doubt it will, but visually for me, the aesthetic of long stay car parking has been met. Cool, just give them a bit of a border. I'm happy with that, I think. We also enjoyed the visual of that big server farm, didn't we? So a lot of these city services that I imagine travel is often involved quite a lot in some way. So I think it makes sense for them to be near an airport, doesn't it? You can imagine a lot of the server farm employees, etc., needing to be near the airport, hence why they based it over here. I'm going to add another connection in here. I don't envision it getting a ton of use, but I'm still quite interested to see where it goes. I have to say the upcoming update for Cities 2, which will probably be out in the next week after this episode, you guys have seen the new update from them, where they're adding in surface paint textures, which is just massive for me. I'm very much looking forward to probably getting stuck into a new city with that patch, because it is a big improvement for the graphics. Also going to add some asymmetry here on this roundabout, like we have with the other ones. And 2 lanes facing in. Wonderful, wonderful. And that immediately gets use, although I imagine he's probably just turned off there, hasn't he? Yeah, he's actually leaving the city. So we'll see if that gets any traffic. I imagine a few might peel off here to the airport, but it's definitely faster for them to stay on that, to go down to downtown Yoakley via here if that's where they want to go. So I think continuing to add our buildings in, there is the industrial waste processing site, which does actually reduce ground pollution for us, which air pollution is definitely the biggest problem in Yoakley. But that's okay, I can deal with that. But I think certainly some unique factories here will be very welcome. This building doesn't particularly scream anything associated with garbage collection, does it? It doesn't really look like a dirty building. So I think we're quite happy to have it here by the airport almost. I see one day we don't have a lot of space here, do we, for buildings there, which is fine. I'll turn all this into overgrowth, I imagine. And then we got some unique factories, which I think would also work well out here. We've got Big Pharma, which isn't the biggest building ever, but that's okay. In terms of where I might want that, let's have a look here. I just want to start preparing these districts. Again, looking at the front of any airport is always good inspiration for what you should put out the front of them. But particularly Ithaca, it's almost kind of like these isolated little office parks in and amongst the forest outside of the airport. Which I think is what we'll try and replicate here. Again, we can see those garbage trucks already coming out. Hopefully they'll make a dent. I imagine all of them will probably go out. 250 vehicle capacity? Holy smokes. That's insane. Why is that so high? It's got to be because it's a unique building, right? It must be. That's so many. Okay, so potentially 250 extra garbage trucks in the garbage economy is good. And they are using that access road, aren't they? I'm probably not going to have any buildings on this road, so I think I'm actually going to upgrade this road here into highway, just to increase their speed out of the airport complex. And did that other one calm down? Got a bit of traffic over here as well, don't we? Or is that a crash? We do have traffic over here. Holy smokes, rather. Sorry. Let me not swear in an episode. Yeah, we do. Why though? It's only this direction, really. Oh, is it just because of the crash we have traffic? Is that why? Because you've crashed right in the middle of the road? The muscle car? Involved in an accident? Possibly then, because we did actually fix this with some of these ramps a few episodes ago, didn't we? But, yeah, I think it's just the crash that's caused the traffic. I'll have to check it. It's really busy down here, isn't it? Jeepers. Jeepers, everyone. Yeah, it is. Is that all emanating from that crash? Moving down here a little bit, isn't it? The concerning thing is that this road is only going to get busier which now makes me think we probably want a better connection left to right, because if everyone's coming down here to go down, or this way to go down, I feel like that connection is really warranted up this way, isn't it? We'll see about that. We'll see what goes on. I'll see what you guys vote for anyway. Speaking of other transit ideas though, we do have buses down here. I think an airport bus is somewhat appropriate, isn't it? Do we have any stands left at the bus stop? Yes, we do. 2 left, in fact. So let's create a new bus line. So let's add this in. Do we want cycling up to the airport? If we're going to have the cycling bus stops, I think we will. So all this can become cycling. As can this, although I'm only going to do it one side here. Because of course it's a one-way flow system. So, yeah, keep going. I'll send it all the way. Sweet. That goes down there. And then back down to the main road. Super. And then we can use those cycling bus stops. Which I'll try and have in sensible places outside the terminal. We'll have one there, which is also outside the train station. And can they access the station from this side? I don't think they can they? I'm actually not sure. We'll place one there anyway. And then it can complete its loop. It can stop again once off this arterial. And then again, this is going to be a rough kind of skeleton road frame for an eventual town down here. So, again, subject to change. Where are you going? What bus line is that? Hello, people. Are you going to another bus line, is it? Hold on, let me have a look at my bus formation here. Okay, well, there is already a bus passing through the town, actually. So, we might as well just plug it into that, hadn't we? It's fine by me. So, yeah, stop here. And then again, yeah. Are we okay here? It does seem like the transit is bugging. The trains were behaving like this earlier as well. I'm not sure. You see what's going on here? Like, I dragged the line in. But it's making weird little elements like this. I'm just not sure what it's doing. Benedict Saltina line needs to be entirely redrawn, doesn't it? Because it's just... there's something about it that's just giving me the heebie-jeebies. It's like layering and doubling up and over itself all the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and redraw this one in. Alright, seems to be behaving itself now. I don't know what it was doing before, but even drawing this one in, it seems to kind of delay and just bug a little bit. I'm not sure if there's been some transit bugs introduced in a recent patch maybe that I've not experienced before. But either way, you can now see where it flows. It just diverts off into the airport here. Stops again at multiple places. So at least get people from Benedict over here. And then we'll see how they get on. Also high crime at the airport, of course. Wonderful. It's full of shoplifters. So let's get some airport police in here, shall we? And given the fact we have big building city around here, this is a good time to include one of the larger police headquarters. How about the prison up here? Again, it's an asset, very much like with a lot of CS2's service assets. They don't really scream what they are. Like with the garbage building over here. Well, I wouldn't maybe mind this prison building out this way. Actually, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm just all of a sudden, no. I'm not a fan of it there. I think we will do now. I do want to have the refinery partnered with some of the other industrial looking buildings, but there is the vehicle factory, which is quite the chungus of the building, which again I think will just sit quite nicely in orbit of a building like the airport. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. We'll bring it a little more front and center so it sits Let's say like here. Tell you what, let's me actually draw in the road, because then it'll be snapped perfectly to the angle. So we'll have it come up like here. 90 degrees. Maybe even connecting it into that one-way loop. We'll see about that there. Yeah, maybe just here. I think a connection might be somewhat enjoyable. Doesn't need to be any traffic lights there though. Get rid of that. Sweet. And then I think the rest of it we can populate with kind of mini smaller companies, tiny little office parks. So maybe something here. Very much like what we did over in Shelton, which I'll go and jump back to for those that missed our live stream. And we'll get that in there. That should grow. They might want some parks and other services here. But generally little office park space. Like we have front and centre from the rail yard now. You know, just more custom parking for individual smaller businesses that aren't to the same scale and size of server farms or, you know, massive waste processing. But otherwise, I think let's do some detailing. Fill out the rest of the airport here, bring back the forest around the networks that we removed. Sort out any perhaps weird terraforming that's developed in our softening. And then generally tidy up the area. And I'm also going to expand some road infrastructure ready for the future developments of this episode. Possibly preparing a point where this highway might eventually join up with Anchor Street as we look for pressure relief on current very stressed busy arterial systems. This bus station's insane. It always does this, doesn't it? I don't even know why. Does it just need time to filter out? It's always this bus station in particular. I think I just made it too busy. Maybe it needs metro. I'm not sure. Either way, grab yourself some snacks and we'll be right back with Yoakley detailing time-lapse. Right, let's have a little detail review, shall we, of the International Airport of Yoakley, which sits in a really cute position, actually. Ithaca proved to be great inspiration, funnily enough, for this area today. Anyway, we'll start off by the front of the station, where we arrive to some basic bush landscaping, tree lining, and extended plaza work, also with some complimentary car parking, just to fill the space between the one-way coupler system, really. And I really like the shape of it, especially the view across the airport complex as you come into it. I think it's really nice. Went with some nice twirly bridge action over here. Different ramps either side. Some pavilion detailing, which is actually all an extension of this mini park over here. Just a place to stop and grab a coffee perhaps once you've got off the bus, which is actually getting some use over here. We can actually see a whole bunch of people heading into the airport right now, which is great. Good to see some walking scurry here at this transit centre. Of course, our only real scurry so far in the city has been down by at Yoakley train station. Of course, the platforms themselves. I think we probably just had a train come in, didn't we? We'll see another train come in as well before we leave the facility. But I think this train station was the perfect choice, wasn't it? To fit with this front of the terminal and all these curves in the network and the slight recession with the modern sort of cover the station has. Really nice complement to each other, I think, isn't it? Especially a view across both of these car parks here. Interestingly enough, the station car park isn't being used at all. And we'll hopefully get a sense of scurry here. Again, how nice is that recession? Just slightly down from the road network. Really nice view, that, isn't it? God bless Bad Peanut. Like, he's so good. What a gorgeous station this is. Very nice. And up here. There we go. Lots of airport scurry coming in, which is really nice to see. So good to see that convergence. If you aren't interested at the airport numbers itself, we currently have 65 passengers waiting. I really wish it would tell us how many people have used the station in the last week like it did in CS1. But it's not huge numbers for an airport, I suppose, is it? But I guess it looks busier at the front, really. But yeah, I guess maybe once we add population to these hills in the coming episodes, that'll get busier. Traditional airport signage, bit of YLX here to detail all the space around and the long stay car park. And what I've done here, especially with this sand texture here and the field and also the one here, I've left in quite obnoxiously because when the new update releases, I want to come back here with the new dry landscape painter and show you just how much better it is and how much of a quality of life upgrade it is for painting your cities. So bear in mind the somewhat obnoxious, harsh sand edge here, because that's going to get significantly better next episode. Beyond that, there's also some solar parking tucked in here, outside the car factory, with zoning of various different shapes and sizes through here. Went for some much more dense forest. And again, referencing Ithaca, where things are getting significantly more tree here. Looking back over the satellite view, this is definitely our dense area, right, all through here. We're going to see significantly more trees, I think, through these suburbs. So you're going to get these little bursts of very dense green all through this road network. Exactly like it does in Ithaca, like we've seen in the Google Earth shots today. So I think even referencing the satellite from Google Earth can sometimes be such a great design philosophy to follow for your city. Over here, we've got Big Pharma. Have a base by the airport, as does the server farm, fully upgraded post depot here. Also with its extension just across the street. The garbage building also threw in one of the plazas from whichever pack this is, the modern pack, is it? There's a modern city pack, isn't there? And then also the Southwest Police Station, since we did delete the prison and I did want some crime service over here. I went for this one, and of course this will service this whole neighbourhood, all these services up here. They'll just keep everyone happy. Down here we actually had the livestock exchange. I was just really looking for a building to place here and thought, you know what? Maybe people are flying into Yoakley to trade in livestock. Maybe it's well, it obviously is a big farming town, isn't it? So maybe that's why they're based out here, right? And I have to say, I really love the grander setting of the airport here in the countryside. A much different surround, I think, to any airport I think we've done before. And then there's more office down here, more parking, and finally the big food service building, which I thought was very appropriately positioned by the highway. Having been glancing back so much at Ithaca for today's episode, for this quite quirky build, I'm really tempted to actually upgrade this single road here to keep the 2 lanes of the highway flowing as couplet all the way up the hill, so we can develop some more significant interchanges to meet all these arterial connections that are down here, because it probably needs it. Like, this is only going to get worse once people live here. So, you know, we should probably do something about that, I think, at this point. Yeah, which then brings us back into the field pattern, which takes over. And again, I've left a lot of these empty because I'm waiting for that surface painter update, so we can come through here and just have so much fun with different brushes, different textures. It's going to be a lot of fun, that. Very much looking forward to it. And like I said, a new series is probably going to follow, because one of my biggest gripes with CS2 is just it's quite painful to look at a lot of the time, especially with the surfaces and the harsh edges. It looks quite beta, but I really think this update coming in, just the variation of texture is so important. Like, I can't stress it. Textures are massively, just because like, you stare at them all the time, right? Like, you're constantly looking at them, at the harsh edges, and yes, with mods it can be significantly better, but I'm not a huge modded player, so I'm happy to see those changes coming in the game anyway. To go off on a hot tangent there. Yeah, which brings us through to the networks here. Oh, this is really nicely laid. I really love the countryside flow of Yoakley. I've mentioned this a few times before now. Just the shape of the fields, the layers we've got going on now with all the networks we've created. There's multiple bridges through this little valley now. Very sweet, of course, in the outskirts of our little rural town over here. So yeah, I don't know, I'm very happy to play Yoakley, and honestly, after the recent patches, we're rocking 125,000 population now, and performance is really decent for me. We're also recording here in 4K at the minute, so patches have made an impact here. I'm getting much better performance, and again, having been so inspired by Ithaca today, I'm kind of really inspired to keep Yoakley going, perhaps a little longer than I was anticipating it to. To briefly touch on the road network here, which has been slightly elaborated, most of it is flowing the flow of the contour lines. You can get a sense of the hill here down on the street level. And the curves are just following the contours for the most part. This is likely to make up just what we see in Ithaca, loads of low density, outer lying city suburbia, kind of commuter town people. Might link up some train lines for them, we'll see. It's going to take some mad terraforming. You can see how steep it is here. I think because it plateaus a little bit at the top, we can probably do a big slope and reclaim some buildable space, but this terrain here is very steep indeed, so that's going to be a pain to build on. So we will do some work, but have just left some connections in to say, do we want to bring this couplet system down to turn this into a 4-way interchange and allow direct highway access that can come up the hill, linking into this suburb, which will take pressure off of both this road, which clearly needs it, and this one as well, which is still busy at this junction. It is not really moving. I was just about to say it is. There's so many buses here. I think this bus station is a real problem, isn't it? I know it has cleared up a bit now. It is a lot better than it was, to be fair. Yeah, I'm not sure what's causing this. Maybe just a short segment here. They are somewhat moving though. Maybe some more turning lanes. Maybe just one more lane, bro. It a little bit relief me. It is a major connection. It is like a busy road to Upper Benedict and to the towns beyond. So I do like that it's busy. I guess it is nice to see some busy streets actually. I suppose it is moving. It's just a bit gridlocky. Is it a rush hour? What time is it? It's 11 o'clock. It's very nearly lunchtime. So. Yeah, it's just a busy arterial road. It's quite nice to see, actually. Activity, everyone. Activity in the city. And of course, I'll check out last episode as well. That's been a few weeks since we've been in Yoakley, but yeah, this town's really settled in nicely now. There's a little bit of edge of town detailing. Some nice apartment ideas over in this bit of the city, especially with these little areas. Which are all living and breathing now with people parking here. Wonderful stuff. And likely these vibes will continue this side of the river as well. Yoakley as our CS2 vanilla build. An enormous shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that bankroll these videos. If you want to get involved in that, links are in the video description. And don't forget to check out Instant Gaming, our channel sponsor, where you can get very cheap codes for very good prices that directly help pay my mortgage. So thank you so much if you do end up shopping there. Let me know what you think of this one, and indeed all the questions I've asked you today about what we should do with the road network heading down the hill. Do we want to open the interchange up to 4-way, or do we want to keep it as it is and just develop the roads in a slightly less highway orientated way, perhaps? And I hope you have enjoyed the build, and I'm looking forward to that new update, because I know I very much am. Either way, enjoy the cinematics, and I'll shut up and leave it there. And thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.